The topic we were discussing is photosynthesis, and these are the various topics we have to study. This is in your syllabus. Definition, ultrastructure of the chloroplast, photosynthetic pigments and their composition, photosystems 1 and 2, then mechanism of photosynthesis, that is the light reaction, which involves photolysis of water, cyclic and non-cyclic photophosphorylation, chemiosmosis. Then the second stage of photosynthesis, which is called a dark reaction, which is also called a C3 pathway or Kelvin cycle. Then you should know the difference between C3 and C4 plants, C4 pathway and its significance, factors affecting photosynthesis, law of limiting factors, action spectrum, absorption spectrum, red drop and emerson effect, significance of photosynthesis. Okay, so this is the list of topics involved in photosynthesis chapter. Okay, now coming to the definition of photosynthesis. Of course, we have studied this already, but let me have a quick recollection. So it is a redox reaction in which inorganic carbon dioxide is reduced to form carbohydrates, for example, glucose, and water is oxidized to form oxygen. This takes place in the presence of sunlight and chlorophyll, and all these reactions happen in the chloroplast of plant cells. Okay. And the other definition is, it is the process in which inorganic substances like carbon dioxide and water combine in the presence of sunlight and chlorophyll to produce high energy carbon compounds, that is carbohydrates, along with the production of oxygen. So carbon dioxide and water combine in the presence of sunlight and chlorophyll to produce carbohydrates, that is glucose and oxygen. So this is the definition of photosynthesis, and here I have given the overall chemical equation for photosynthesis. 6 carbon dioxide plus 12 H2O in the presence of chlorophyll and sunlight produces C6H12O6. This is glucose, and water and oxygen. So please note here, see, water is both a reactant and also a product. Water, it is a reactant. 12 molecules of H2O is there, whereas it is also a product. Can you see that? Can you see that? It is also a reactant, it is also a product. Okay, am I clear? Okay, so this is the diagrammatic representation. So sunlight, carbon dioxide, water. So these are the inputs, whereas the major output is glucose and oxygen. Okay, and this all happens in the leaf cells mainly. So this is the overview of photosynthesis. Now there are two phases. One is called light dependent phase or light reaction. The other one is called dark reaction, which is independent of light. The details of this we are going to study when we take up mechanism of photosynthesis. So importance, as we have discussed, photosynthesis results in the production of organic molecules out of inorganic materials. So carbon dioxide and water are inorganic, whereas glucose, sucrose, starch, etc. are organic molecules. So it is a process in which inorganic materials are converted into organic molecules, which are usable by other organisms. Okay, so it forms a source of food for all heterotrophs, basis for all food chains or webs. So we can make out that any food chain or any food web starts from producer organism, that is plants. So in this way, photosynthesis supports all life forms on this earth. Without photosynthesis, we cannot get the supply of food. Okay. Now, in addition to that, it also provides the oxygen necessary for respiration, aerobic respiration. All the oxygen in the atmosphere is produced by the activity of green plants. Remember this. Now, coming to the important organelle which plays a most important role in photosynthesis, that is the chloroplast. So, chloroplast is a semi-autonomous cytoplasmic organelle which contains the essential pigments for photosynthesis, that is chlorophyll and other pigments like xanthophyll, carotene, etc. So, it forms the site of photosynthesis, and I have told you the important part of leaf where photosynthesis takes place is mesophyll. And please recollect your anatomical knowledge of TS of leaf. Mesophyll consists of palisade parenchyma cells and spongy parenchyma cells. These are also called chlorenchyma cells because they are parenchyma cells filled with chloroplast. So all these green dot-like structures are the representation of chloroplast. They are filled with plenty of chloroplast, and this is a microscopic picture of the mesophyll cell, and all these rounded structures are chloroplast, and this is a detailed structure of chloroplast, a single chloroplast. So this is enlarged view of chloroplast structure. This is electron micrograph of a chlorophyll structure, chloroplast structure. So this is a detailed structure. So there are structures called grana inside, covered by a envelope made up of outer membrane and inner membrane, separated by intermembrane space. There are disc-like structures called thylakoids. Thylakoids are again covered by membranes, and these thylakoids are actually the site of light reaction. The thylakoid membranes house the chlorophyll and other pigments and all other protein complexes, electron carriers, ATP synthesizing machinery. All these things are found in the membranes of the thylakoid. They are stacked together to form structures called granum. There are many grana, and between adjacent grana there are interconnecting thylakoids which are called as stroma thylakoids or stroma lamellae, and the outer space is filled with the fluid which is called stroma. Now this stroma has all the enzymes necessary for dark reaction. So stroma is the place where dark reaction takes place, whereas these thylakoids are the place where, or grana are the place where light reaction takes place. Now this is the ultrastructure as we have discussed already. So I repeat the structure: outer envelope made up of two membranes, thylakoids, grana, stroma lamellae, stroma, and very importantly, chloroplast is a autonomous organelle, not completely autonomous, semi-autonomous, because it has got its own DNA, genetic material, so it can form some of its proteins without depending on the nuclear DNA. Therefore, it is called semi-autonomous or partially independent. Now, next, coming to the pigments required for photosynthesis. Now, remember, these pigments play a very important role in photosynthesis by absorbing the light and transferring the energy. See, what the pigments actually do is they absorb sunlight and transfer this energy for producing ATP and NADPH2 and further carbohydrates. Now, the exact mechanism we shall study later. So, there are three pigments: chlorophyll, chlorophyll A, B, C, D, E. These are the subtypes, and out of which we have seen chlorophyll A is the primary photosynthetic pigment because they directly take part in light reaction, whereas all others are called accessory pigments because they do not directly take part in photosynthesis. They only absorb light and transfer their absorbed light to chlorophyll A molecule to further take part in light reaction. So chlorophyll A is the most important main pigment required for photosynthesis. Therefore, it's called primary pigment. All others are accessory pigments. Now, this is the structure of chlorophyll. It contains magnesium ions in the center. So, magnesium plays a very important role in photosynthesis because they form the structural component of chlorophyll pigments. Remember this. Now then there are other types of pigments called carotenoids and bilins. Carotenoids are yellow, reddish, orange colored pigments, whereas bilins are mainly found in algae. The most common examples are phycocyanin and phycoerythrin. Examples for carotenoids is carotene, then xanthophylls, etc. So I'll not put the details of all this. Now, this is what I was discussing. Actually, pigments play a very important role in photosynthesis by absorbing light. Now, this is the electromagnetic spectrum, starting from gamma rays to the radio waves. And here a very small range of light, this is called visible light. And you know, the visible light is made up of 7 different colors, starting from violet to red, Vibgyor. I think you remember this, okay? So this is called the visible light, and photosynthetic pigments absorb the visible part of the spectrum. So different color light are absorbed by photosynthetic pigments, and this absorbed light energy is used up for formation of ATP and NADPH2, and this ATP and NADPH2 is then used to convert carbon dioxide into carbohydrate. So that is the whole principle of photosynthesis. Now this is what happens when light falls on chloroplast. Some amount of light is reflected back, whereas some amount of light is absorbed. Okay. Now, one very important aspect is this chloroplast and leaf, they appear green in color. Why they appear green in color? Because the green part of the spectrum. So if you see the light, now this is called the green part. So this is a green part. Now this green part of the spectrum is reflected. See, chloroplast pigments, they do not absorb green part of the spectrum. So green wavelength is reflected. And remember, the color of any material is the color of the light reflected. Yava light anna now reflect martiva, that is the color. Okay. So chloroplast pigments reflect green light, therefore they appear green in color. All other wavelengths, yellow, red, blue, etc., these are all absorbed and they are made using photosynthesis, light reaction. Now this is the actual absorption pattern of pigments. So can you see here? Chlorophyll A, chlorophyll B, carotenoids, etc. Notice they see this is a peak absorbance. They absorb more of these colors. Yaudu blue color nodi. Blue color maximum absorption. Whereas when it comes to this green color, very minimum absorption nodi. So this wherever the graph rises, it shows maximum absorption, whereas the downward graph shows minimum absorption. Nodi. So very, very minimum absorption in the green color, maximum absorption in the blue color and red, yellow red color nodi. So illu kuda absorb agutte, illi kuda absorb agutte. So pigments absorb light in this blue range and yellow red range, whereas the green color is not absorbed, that is reflected. So green color is not used in photosynthesis, it is reflected, whereas the blue and red color wavelengths are absorbed and they are used up in photosynthesis. Now this is the graph which shows the absorption of wavelengths by different chloroplast pigments, and this is called absorption spectrum anta karitare idanna. Of course, we will study about this in detail at the end of our discussion. Okay. So this is where we have stopped in the previous class, right? Am I clear? I think we had a very quick recollection of what we have studied in the previous class, right? Okay. So now come to the next topic, photosystems. Now, for a light reaction to take place, different pigments are necessary. Now, there are chlorophyll pigments, xanthophylls, And of course, in algae, there are billions. All these are necessary for photosynthesis, especially for the light dependent phase, that is light system. Now, these different pigments, they are arranged as separate functional units or distinct groups in the thylakoid membrane. Not only pigments, there are other essential materials like electron carriers are required. So electron carriers are separate organic molecules. Electron carriers are required. Then certain enzymes are required, like ATP synthesizing enzyme, ATP synthetase enzymes are required. So all these things, they are arranged as functional units on the thylakoid membrane. So these distinct groups or functional units of different pigments and pigment protein complexes, these are called photosystems. So photosystem andre, it is a group of pigments and other proteins necessary for light reaction. Actually, in the thylakoid membrane, two such groups are present, and these are called photosystem 1 and photosystem 2. They are distributed as a distinct structural entities in the thylakoid membrane along with ATP synthase enzyme. So what is there in each photosystem? Each photosystem is composed of several molecules of different pigments, proteins, and metal ions. So ಏನೇನಿರುತ್ತೆ ಒಂದೊಂದು photosystem ಅಲ್ಲಿ pigments ಇರುತ್ತೆ, proteins ಇರುತ್ತೆ, metal ions ಇರುತ್ತೆ. So ಈ proteins they mainly act as electron carriers. Next ಬರುತ್ತೆ electron transport system ಬರುತ್ತೆ. So they carry electrons from one place to another place. Okay. So each photosystem alli there is one chlorophyll A molecule in the center. It plays a very central role, and this is the molecule which takes part in light reaction directly. Surrounding that chlorophyll A molecule, there will be other pigments. So a central chlorophyll A molecule which directly take part in light reaction, that is called as a reaction center. Surrounding the reaction center, there will be other pigments like chlorophyll B, C, D, xanthophyll, many molecules of other pigments are present. Now these pigments, they do not play a direct role in photosynthesis. What they do is they absorb light, and this energy is transferred to the central chlorophyll A molecule, that is the reaction center. So these pigments, they combine with some proteins and they form structures called light harvesting complexes. So they are like antenna molecules of the photosystem. They receive sunlight, they absorb sunlight, and transfer this absorbed light to the reaction center. And always remember, the reaction center is a chlorophyll A molecule. Am I clear? So I think now you have got a picture of what is a photosystem. Am I clear? So this is the diagrammatic representation of a photosystem. So can you see one important chlorophyll A molecule here? Kanta idya? See, this is a chlorophyll A molecule which is in the center. Nodi, this molecule. Okay, can you see this? So this is a chlorophyll A molecule. Here also there is a chlorophyll A molecule. Of course, one is photosystem 1, one is photosystem 2. The difference I will explain later, but try to understand the structure of a photosystem. So there is one chlorophyll A molecule. Now this is the reaction center. Along with that, there are many other pigments, maybe chlorophyll B, C, xanthophyll, carotene, etc. So together, this group of pigments, they make a photosystem. So what actually they do is when sunlight falls on this group of pigments, that is photosystem, all these accessory pigments, they absorb light. They absorb light, and this absorbed energy is transferred finally to this chlorophyll A molecule, which is the reaction center. Okay. So this chlorophyll A molecule, that is the reaction center, receives light from all these accessory pigments, and then it directly take part in the other reactions of light reaction, light phase. So A cluster of different photosynthetic pigments which together act as one unit during light reaction is called as a photosystem. Okay, so there are two such photosystems. One is photosystem 2, the other one is photosystem 1. Now the only difference is in photosystem 1, see the chlorophyll A molecule, which is the reaction center, that can absorb light of about 700 nanometer wavelength. So it can absorb light only of about 700 nanometer. So this is called as chlorophyll A 700 or P700. So reaction center of photosystem 1 is a chlorophyll A molecule which can absorb light at 700 nanometer wavelength. Whereas the photosystem 2 has a chlorophyll A molecule which functions as reaction center, and this can absorb light of 680 nanometers or less. So the difference is only in the absorption property of the chlorophyll A molecule. One absorbs light of 680 nanometers or less, and the other one absorbs light of more than 680 nanometers, that is around 700 nanometers. So maximum absorption at 700 nanometers in photosystem 1, therefore it is called P700. Here the maximum absorption is at 680 nanometers, therefore this is called as P680. So photosystem 2 functions when light of 680 nanometers or less is available. Photosystem 1 functions when light of 700 nanometers or more than 680 nanometers is available. So this is the difference between photosystem 1 and photosystem 2. Am I clear? Hope I am clear. Okay. So now this is the description of photosystem 1 and photosystem 2. So photosystem 1 consists of about 200 to 250 chlorophyll A, B molecules, about 50 carotenoids. Then there are antenna proteins and electron carriers. See, electron carriers are required to transport the excited electrons during light reaction. The exact mechanism of this electron transport we will discuss while discussing light reaction. Okay, but for the timing, remember there are special materials called electron carriers. They play a very important role in transferring electrons from chlorophyll A to ATP, chlorophyll A to NADPH, etc. So this part we shall discuss later. Now photosystem 1 has about 6 different electron carriers. These are called as A0. So this is again a type of chlorophyll A molecule. Then A1, this is a quinone protein. Then there are iron sulfur proteins, proteins consisting of iron and sulfur in their structural part. So these are called as ferrous sulfur proteins or iron sulfur proteins. They are called FESX, FESA, FESB. FES stands for iron sulfur protein. And then there is another iron sulfur protein which is called as ferredoxin. So ferredoxin, A1, A0, FES, FESA, FESB. These are the different electron carriers associated with photosystem 1. Make yourself very familiar with all these names because all these names are essential while we take up light reaction stages. Okay. The reaction center of photosystem 1. What is the reaction center? That is a chlorophyll A molecule of photosystem 1. In the center is a single molecule of chlorophyll A which absorbs light at 700 nanometer wavelength. Now, therefore, it is called P700 or chlorophyll A700. This we have seen in the diagram already. So this is what I was referring to. Chlorophyll 1 has got a chlorophyll A molecule in the center which acts as a reaction center, and this absorbs light at 700 nanometers. Okay. The remaining chlorophyll A and B absorb light energy at different wavelengths. Now, this absorb transferred. So PS1, the remaining chlorophyll A and chlorophyll absorb light energy at different wavelengths, and this absorbed light energy is finally transferred to the chlorophyll A reaction center at the center. Okay. Now, photosystem 1 are associated with both cyclic and non-cyclic electron transport processes. of light reaction and produces NADPH2 or NADPH. Now, when we study light reaction, we understand that there are different methods of electron transport. One is called cyclic electron transport, the other one is called as non-cyclic electron transport. So PS1 is required for both cyclic and non-cyclic processes, and it is also involved in the formation of NADPH. NADPH is very essential for converting carbon dioxide into carbohydrate during dark reaction. Remember this, okay? So this is the important points regarding photosystem 1. Now coming to photosystem 2, the components of photosystem 2 is almost similar to that of photosystem 1. It also consists of about 200 to 250 chlorophyll A and B molecules, carotenoids, then proteins, electron carriers, etc. Then what is the difference between photosystem 1 and 2? The major difference is in the types of electron carriers and the nature of reaction center. PS2 has different electron carriers called pheophytin. So pheophytin is again a chlorophyll A molecule, but without a magnesium ion. Now we have seen the structure of chlorophyll A. Usually chlorophyll has got magnesium ions, but when the chlorophyll A is devoid of magnesium ion, then it is called as pheophytin. Then there are quinones which are designated as QA and QB and plastoquinone. So these are the different electron carriers associated with photosystem 2. Okay. Now another important difference between photosystem 1 and 2 is the reaction center. The reaction center of photosystem 2 is a single molecule of chlorophyll A which absorbs light at 680 nanometer wavelength. Remember, photosystem 1 reaction center absorbs at 700 nanometers, whereas PS2 absorbs light at 680 nanometers. Now, therefore, it is called P680 or chlorophyll A680. Now, as usual, like photosystem 1, the remaining chlorophyll A, B, and other molecules, they absorb light at different wavelengths and transfer that to this P680, which is the reaction center. And P680 further takes part in the other steps of light reaction. Now, PS2 molecules are associated with only non-cyclic electron transport. See, PS1 is required for both, that is cyclic and non-cyclic, whereas PS2 are involved only in non-cyclic electron process of light reaction and needed for photolysis of water, which releases oxygen. See, during light reaction, there is also release of oxygen by splitting up of water, and this is called photolysis. And in this photolysis, PS2 molecules are involved. So this is the difference between photosystem 1 and photosystem 2. So I think now the structure of photosystem 1 and photosystem 2 is clear, and the importance of this photosystem 1 and 2 is also clear. Okay.